Oh, intro? Sorry. Hello YouTube, and welcome to another episode of The Cloudy Vape. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Goblin Mini by Youde. Technologies. Youde Technologies. This thing is crazy. This thing is tiny, good flavor, easy to build on, and I haven't had really many issues with it leaking. There was one time where I forgot to put the wick in. yeah, I forgot to put the wick in, and I filled it up. It was just not smart. But the flavor is awesome. The flavor is freaking awesome. I think I like the original Goblin the most, the very first one. But this one kind of is nostalgic, I guess you would say, because I really enjoyed the Goblin. It was one of my favorite tanks for a long time. But this one, the only reason I can say that I don't really like it is it almost feels too small, if that makes any sense. The airflow is awesome, the building's awesome, the flavor's awesome, but once I got tanks that you could fill on demand, and you could kind of like the Goliath, how you could just take the deck out and work with it. I've kind of gotten over tanks that you have to completely remove the juice in order to fix something on the deck, or to change a coil out, or to change the content out. That is just kind of my thoughts on these. I feel like these type of tanks are a little bit outdated, but for what it is, if this is something that you enjoy, you know for a fact that, hey, I don't care if I dump a little bit of juice and fix the build, or, anything like that. This is a great tank. It still is. And I still do use my Goblin quite often, but I kind of just, I wait until I finish the tank, or, it runs out of juice, and then I fix the build. That's what I'm talking about. But with like the Goliath, or the even the Aromamizer RDTA, you can take the deck off in mid fill of a tank. The tank could be completely full. You can take the deck off and tinker with it. You know what I mean? So that's just my thoughts about that. Excuse me, Cody, because I just burped again. But yeah, let's have a little vape. This is a 0.4 ohm build. I think it's like a 2.5 millimeter using 26 gauge. So you definitely are able to fit a decent sized coil in this one. It seems a little bit bigger than the original. That could just be me. That's what at least I feel. I thought the original you could only fit like 2 millimeter coils in it. Even 2.5 was just cutting it short, but this actually fit a 2.5 millimeter coil in pretty well. So let's check it out. Let's have a vape. And I'm using a Max VG juice. So that is also what I absolutely love about the Goblins. All the Goblins I've had, Max VG all day in a tank is great. I believe this is, let me taste it. My Sweet One by Stash. I believe that's what this one is. Yes, My Sweet One. So, great vapor production, great airflow, great flavor. The only thing, like I said, I'm so used to tanks being able to remove the deck and still keep your juice in the tank without disturbing it or having to dump it. That's all I'm saying. So, without more yapping, dive down, check it out, do the dirty dance, do the happy dance, come back up, talk about the pros and the cons, which I already kind of just told you about. But anyways, dive down, check it out. Alright, so here it is. Here's the Goblin Mini. Mini Goblin. So they've changed up the boxing a little bit. Kind of actually looks a little bit more cheaper than before. The boxing is very like, it's like gaff tape. If you know what gaff tape is, that's what it feels like. Gaff tape all around it. But yeah, so enough talk about that. Let's pop it open. So we have our RTA. Zoom it in. We got our RTA. We have a replacement glass. We have a replacement drip tip, which is a glass drip tip. And then inside here, let's check out these goodies real quick. So you have replacement glass, very nice. And actually, they've done a good job at rounding off this glass. I know the other one is kind of, more blunt, not so much rounded off. So inside of here, you have a few things. You have your regular drip tip connection, if that's what you want to use. This is for a 510 drip tip. You have O-rings for days, and then you do have a single coil option, which if I can get this open, hold on, I'm just gonna dump it into there. So right here, let's look at this. This is your single coil option. So this little teeny piece, what it does, it blocks off your single coil. So you just pick whatever side you're not going to be using if you want to build single coil, and you just pop that in. These little grommets or rubberness goes into the juice channels. This part kind of blocks off the deck, kind of reduces the chamber a little bit more. And so this is your single coil option. So really cool that they have a single coil option in that. And you do have O-rings and screws and stuff to cover the replacement on all of that. Let's actually look at the device. It's very simplistic. I'm not going to take it apart too much. Basically just show you, here's your drip tip. This is an oversized 510. And then you do have an adapter if you want to go into like a regular 510. You just pop that adapter in like I showed you. As far as the actual barrel on here, you have just a glass coating the whole thing. You have a really small chimney, and then inside there's your deck. Looking at the bottom, here's your airflow control mechanism. So if you were to line it up, you kind of see how it's like grooved right there. So if you were to set it flush on like a device, basically there's your airflow sticking up, and it's going to be on both sides. So that's kind of how that works. And then you would just kind of like reach in with your thumb or something, reach in right there with your thumb, and you would adjust that airflow while it's there. So a little weird, a little bit weird. I haven't really seen this done like that before, but that's how you adjust this airflow. And basically, if you look right there, those Cylon airflows are going straight up into the deck. There is no reduction in airflow, no nothing. That is literally the bottom of the deck right here. And so this ring just closes off the bottom of the deck. Very compact and stuff. This little flathead screwdriver unscrews, and that's how you fill up your tank. And yeah, so let me just put that right there. I'm probably going to get a little bit of... I'm going to have a paper towel right there. This is going to look gross, guys. It's going to look gross, but I'm just going to open it up and show you the deck real quick. Alrighty. So, really, it's just like the Goblin with some changes, This section, at least it feels like, this section is all one piece. Let me see if I can unscrew it. Okay, no, this does come off. Alright. So pop this off. Alright, so there's your kind of top section, your drip tip. There's your chimney that goes down into your build deck. So just tighten that up. So you are able to clean it up pretty well, I guess. So that goes on like that. Then you do have a little O-ring right here, which can be popped off just like that. And that O-ring can go right into here. So that's kind of how it seals off for you. Seals off right there, and as you can see, I have tons of juice all over my fingers. But really, I'm trying to get to the build deck for you. As you saw, this is your glass right here. Here's your glass. Here is your next O-ring to seal off the bottom of the tank, which I can't get off, but yeah, basically there's an O-ring that seals off the bottom of the tank. Let me set that up there. And then right here, here's your deck. It's going to look just like your original Goblin. You have that little shell that goes over it. And boom, you got plenty of room for stuff. You got a 4-post design. You have 2 center posts, center block, and then you have 2 negative posts. And as you can see, I'll go ahead and let me pull out one of these cotton wicks. Man, we're just messy today, aren't we? We're just nice and messy. So there it is. There's your deck basically. And as you can see, like I said, that airflow is real. Airflow is real right there. Huge airflow. I would say 2 millimeters in thickness by like 7 or 8 in width, if not more. So you basically just line up that coil right there, boom. You just kind of very gingerly throw some cotton in those wicks, depending on what your viscosity is, and you're good to go. Not really too much change-ups on the deck. It is cut in a little bit different right there, you know, like how it cuts in. Just a little bit different from the original Goblin, but really nothing major. Nothing major that you can't just work around. But it really, you know, it really works well. You know what I mean? And as you can see, I didn't really center that up very well. Not very well at all. But, yeah, I mean, you have options to just mess around with it and work with it. So for what it is, it works really well. You do have an adjustable silver pin right here. So I believe, I mean, if it adjusts down enough, you probably could fit on hybrids. But really it just depends on what hybrid you're using, I guess. But it does just adjust down a little bit. So yeah, there is the deck of the Goblin, and that's really all I can say about it. Really no serial numbers or anything. The only thing I could say that has a marking is identifying what it is going to be right here. It says Youde, and yeah, it has that little Goblin logo or whatever. Just says Goblin on this barrel, this kind of a barrel that goes over the deck. So yeah, that is about it. I need to go wash my hands because they're all dirty now. But yeah, let's go back up to FaceTime and talk about it just a little bit more. All right, let's talk about the pros and the cons. So right away, the pro is great flavor. Second, ease of build, great build, quality. The airflow is great. The fact that it can use max VG is still great. You know, the main con for me is just someone new using it. I know a lot of people, I've gotten a lot of emails, comments, just, you know, correspondence back and forth, people trying to get their goblins to work or these kind of bottom-fed devices to work, and either they flood or they're dry hits. So all I would really say is you can use the Goblin, the original Goblin build that I posted for this one with no issues. Just realize it's really based on what juice viscosity you're using. So in that video, I think I was using like a 50-50 or a 60-40, something like that. But really just think about that before you actually put juice in there, before you wick it. Think about what viscosity you're using. If you're going to be using a max VG, you don't want to feather the cotton, the wick, down into the channels very much. You just kind of want to lay it on top of the channels. If you're going to be using a really thin viscosity like a 50-50, you do want to feather down that cotton just a little bit more. So the reason I feel you're kind of having the issues, I say you as in the majority of the people that have this issue, and if you don't have the issue, then disregard this. But definitely think about the viscosity of the juice, because that's really what's going to affect this tank. If you build the coils, you throw the wick in, you know, one day you might put a 50-50 in and it might flood like crazy. The next day you put max VG in and it works great. So wick it based on what viscosity you're going to be using. That kind of sucks if you only have like 10 mils left of something and you vape through it really quick. Then you have to change that wick out. But with, it's just my thoughts. With these RTAs, you really have to base, at least these ones, with the fixed juice flows, and you kind of pick how the juice is flowing into the cotton. You really have to think about what juice are you using, how long of a duration are you going to be using that juice for, is it worth building this and wicking it for 5 mils, 10 mils? I know if I get a 30 mil bottle of something, I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going to build this for this bottle of juice and only use that bottle of juice in this build until it's done. That's kind of how I look at it. So I guess that was a PSA, kind of just answering a few questions of people who have been having issues with the Goblin. If you do have issues wicking it even after I've said all of this, think about the diameter of the coil. If you're using too small of a coil, you're not getting enough cotton, so you're going to get dry hits. If you are flooding too much, you're probably using too much cotton, and you're not letting the cotton drop down into the juice channels. So anyways, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. So I'll put a link in the description box below to the Goblin build. I'll also, you know, in this video, I also mentioned a few things about wicking it and all that good stuff in the up and close. So yeah, I just hope you found this helpful. And if you have any issues wicking this device, and if there's enough feedback about, just having problems with this device in general, I'll do a build video and I'll wick it, and I'll show how I do it with different viscosities. So anyways, again, this is running a little bit long, but I felt like this needed to be said, at least for this crowd of people that are going to be using this device and other RTAs that have fixed juice flow. And when I say fixed juice flow, I mean you can't, you have to dump the tank if you want to fix the build. That's what I mean. So anyways, that is all. I promise I'll stop ranting. I'll start ranting. I don't even know what I'm saying. I will stop ranting, dang it. I need to shut up. I'm trying. Like in my brain, I'm like, come on, please stop talking. Please stop talking, but I don't. So anyways, I'm crazy. So yeah. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. And if you like my videos in general, please subscribe. And as always, stay classy and keep vaping.